So a Craigslist man asked me to marry him on our third meet for a visa. And this is the engagement ring. Just kidding. That's just a cheap ring my mom gave me. Anyways, I have some stories for you today. I've been here for over 5 years now, so I wanted to share some of my favorite and not so favorite experiences, and just what dating has actually been like as an American woman living in Japan who does not discriminate based on gender or sexual identity. Yeah, I like boys, girls, non-binary, everything in between. I've been through it. I'm talking worst dates, borderline dangerous encounters with weird men, getting aggressively cheated on in Osaka, almost getting married for a visa, and then finally meeting my green flag partner. Let's start from the beginning. Rural loneliness era. That is what I like to call this era. This is when I was living in Akashi, Hyogo, which is the countryside. There's nothing around. The closest convenience store was like a 20-minute walk. Life is lonely. Living in Japan as a foreigner in the countryside, in the middle of nowhere, not speaking the language that 99.99% of the people around you speak, is just a bit lonelier. It's not a contest, but... So I did what lonely folks do nowadays. I downloaded dating apps. A dating app? No, dating apps, plural. Tinder and Bumble. Yeah. I have never seen so many photos of food, of the back of people's heads, of their dogs, toy poodles, pictures with blurred faces. But that's quite common on dating apps in Japan, I've heard, for a variety of reasons. Some people say it's because Japanese people are shy. Sometimes, I guess, people don't have decent photos of themselves. Some people are secretly married. Maybe they're embarrassed to be on a dating app. I don't know. Regardless, it makes it hard to know who you're actually matching with. So you gotta do a lot of swiping, like I did, until you can find a match. I was lucky to find a few folks who had clear photos of themselves, so that was nice. Also, beware if someone tells you they want to study English. 99% of the time, 99% of the time, it is code for I want to sleep with you, or let's date, or something. That's on dating apps and also in person. When I first came here, a lot of people I met, a lot of Japanese guys I met were like, let's practice English. Like, I want to learn English. I'll teach you Japanese. I was like, yeah. No. My advice, if you want to learn a language, hire a tutor or get a language conversation partner with someone who is not sexually attracted to you. So on the dating apps, for the women I've came across, a lot of them seem to be just looking for friends. Yeah, I feel like a lot of women here maybe are not out of the closet yet, and that's okay because, I mean, gay marriage isn't legal in Japan yet, and there's a lot of pressure from society. You know, it's different from other countries where it's more accepted and more normalized. It was hard to match with a lot of women on dating apps, and the ratio of men that were on there who were like interested in me versus the women interested in me was so different. I barely matched with any queer women, which was very sad. I went on a few dates with women here, but not much came out of them. The one girl that I was really into, she ended up ghosting me and moving back to her home country. I don't know, she's not in Japan anymore, but she's happily married now. Good for her. I'm happy for her. So I was very, very close to just giving up on these apps. You know, I couldn't stand looking at another picture of, I don't know, something other than someone's face. Just as I was about to give up on this app, I found a Japanese guy who was tatted. I like tatted guys. He spoke English. He had experience abroad. Wow. Swipe. The other way. What's the left or right? You know, the one where you match. And we matched. So yeah, this guy seemed cool. He was a few years older than me. I think he just like traveled abroad. He spoke English. It's a plus because in my mind I was like, okay, he has a better understanding of my culture, my language. I have somewhat an understanding of his culture, his language, because I've only been in Japan for like a year at that time. I thought if we had any cultural or language differences or barriers, it would be easier for us to work through them. This was the calm before the hurricane. So when we first met, we didn't go on a proper date. We just met out in Osaka. I was out drinking with friends, and then he was too. And we're like, oh my God, we're both out. So he like came over to me and my friends. We talked and everything. I was really drunk. I don't remember most of the night, but I remember I had fun. So after that, I was like, okay, like let's plan a proper date where we're both sober. It's just us. It's not our friends as well. And let's see how it goes. So he suggested a first date spot at a place called Torikizoku. And I didn't really know what that place was at the time. I knew it was an izakaya or a pub, had drinks and like appetizer foods. And then I later found out from my Japanese friends that it was like the equivalent of the American Applebee's. For those of you who don't know Applebee's, it's a nice spot, but maybe it's not the best first date spot. Just kind of like cheap mid food. I mean, I like Torikizoku, I'm fine with it, but my Japanese friends were like, oh my gosh, like you can't go on a first date at Torikizoku. So that's kind of like a running joke with me and my friends now. But before the date, he told me, oh, I don't have any money. Okay, that's fair. I don't know why he didn't have money. I get it though, I've been there. I was into him, so I'm like, I got it. I will pay. So there we were on our first date at the local Japanese Applebee's, and it was nice. It was fun. He seemed like a cool guy. I paid. It was fine. It wasn't too expensive, and we started to see each other regularly. And I think it was less than a month of seeing each other that he asked me to be his girlfriend. And then it was only a couple months in that he wanted to move in with me. So I think it was like 3 months into us dating that we moved in together into our own apartment in Osaka. I've never lived with a partner before. I never thought I would move in with someone that fast, but it seems to be pretty normal here. Like things move fast, faster than America. I was excited. I really liked him, so I wasn't really opposed to the idea. So when we're living together, I start to notice his habits more. I'd notice he's going out late more often. He's coming back early in the morning, like 5 a.m. He's drinking a lot, but he was in a band and he was like a party boy. So maybe that's just a lifestyle. I didn't really think anything of it. And then I get a text from a friend, and my friend's like, Chloe, I just saw your boyfriend leave the bar or wherever they were at with another girl. What? So of course I confront my boyfriend about this, and I'm like, why am I hearing that? Like, what happened? Immediately he gets really defensive and he's like, you're crazy for thinking, anything of that. That was my friend. We live in the same direction, so we just walked home in the same direction. That's it. And I was like, okay, my sweet angel boyfriend, he would never do anything to betray me. So it probably was just my friend looking out for me too much. So I moved on with that. And then a couple weeks later, another friend texts me and says, Chloe, your boyfriend is cheating on you. I don't have evidence, but just trust me. Just ask him. I'm sure he will spill everything. So I'm stunned. I'm like, I've never been cheated on. He really seemed like he loved and cared about me. Like, I didn't think that he would be doing anything like that. So I was like, okay, and I've never done this before, and I felt a little bit bad for doing this, but I was like, let me just lie and say, okay, I know you've been cheating on me, so tell me. Let me just say that. He probably is going to say no, and I'm probably going to look like an idiot, but this is the second thing that's come up, so I really wanted to have an answer. So he comes home, and I look at him and I say, I know everything. I know you've been cheating, so just tell me. This man, I thought he was going to say no. He just starts crying. He starts crying and he spills the tea. Everything. So this man has been cheating on me a lot for a long time. He was having, I guess you could say, an affair with this one girl, like sleeping with her, hanging out with her a lot. This Japanese woman who I didn't know. And then these two foreign women. One I had mutual friends with, and she was the girl that he walked home with. And then the other girl that he just kissed. Who knows if that's the full extent of it. It was my friend. So of course I reached out to these girls to kind of let them know everything that was happening, and like, I don't know if they were sleeping with him, like what if there was disease involved. Like, I wanted to keep everybody safe and also have answers for myself and to let them know. All of these girls knew that he had a girlfriend. That really hurt. Oh, and the girl he was having an affair with, she told me, regardless of everything that happened, she was like, but he's a really nice guy and he seems to really care about you. I really think you should give him another chance. Girl. The audacity this girl had to even say that to me. Like, I don't know. Very strange. I got the information I needed from all of these girls, which is great, but yeah, of course I was disappointed. And yet, cheating isn't just in Japan, but I think the passive communication style here, as well as the conflict avoidance, it kind of made things a bit messier and a bit more difficult. But I don't know, because I never got cheated on in America, so I don't really have an American dating experience to compare that with. After this, he shared with me how some of his friends in his friend group have cheated on their girlfriends before and how they worked it out. And I don't know, it just made me feel like icky. Like, ooh, why is this like, oh yeah, I did it too? Like, why does it feel like this normal type of thing between him and his friends? That was just really weird. Yeah, that's not within my moral compass. That's not within my values, so I was a Dembo who gave him another chance. Of course, the same thing happened. Even my psychic medium, who I would see regularly, he even told me that this would happen, and it did. No, this is crazy. My psychic medium told me, he's like, your boyfriend will cheat on you again in February. And he did, in February. So, long story short, I was on and off with this guy for like around 2 years, way too long. I left him. It got really toxic and just, to be honest, I always feel scared to say this word, but abusive. It became abusive in many ways. So I decided to do what was best for me, and I started fresh. I left Osaka and I moved to Tokyo, and I just had a fresh start. Craigslist job or date or proposal. Let's get into this story. So I didn't give up on dating, but I was just taking a break from it, and I was like, let me work. I'm in my I want to be an actress era. I still am. So I was like, okay, let me get any job as I can. I'm a Craigslist girl. I love Craigslist. I know there's a movie called The Craigslist Killer. It doesn't deter me. It should, but. So I saw a gig on Craigslist for an actress for this guy's YouTube channel. It was paid. I looked at his channel. It seemed legit. So I met up with him. And I thought we were just gonna meet at the station and like walk to the shooting location together. But I'm there and he's in his car. He's like, come on in, like, let's go to the shooting location. And I'm like, oh my God. You know, my parents, they always told me, Chloe, don't go in the car with a stranger, especially not one who's twice your age, especially not in a foreign country. You know, like, it's obvious. But I was in my extreme people-pleasing era back then. I still am a little bit. And I didn't want to be rude, so I was like, okay, let me go in your car. So I went in his car, and I was like, okay, please, God, please don't let me die. And also I was like, I think I shared my location with someone just to be safe. And yeah, it was fine, actually. I didn't die. We had a shooting. It was fun. It was great. The second time we met up, he forgot his tripod at his house. So he's like, oh, we need to go to my house. I forgot my tripod. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. I'm going back to this strange man's house. He's still a stranger. So we pull up to his house, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna invite me in. Like, this is gonna be so weird. How am I gonna say no? I don't know. Yeah, because he was telling me he had like a studio in his house, and I was like, I know he's gonna invite me in. I know there's gonna be like some weird situation. So I'm like holding my breath. I'm like, oh, what do I do? But thank God he goes in alone and he gets the tripod. And I was like, oh, okay. So that kind of shook me up a bit, and this time he told me about his company. So he had a company in Japan. And I expressed to him that I wanted to be an actress in Japan, but visa stuff and limitations, all that was a big obstacle for me. And he was like, oh, I have a great idea for your visa. And I was like, oh my God. He's like, yeah, I'll tell you about it, next time we meet. So here I am thinking, this guy's gonna hire me at his job. It's gonna be great. I can do acting work with him and other people, and like, this is perfect. So because of that, I met up with him for a third time. So the third time we met, we're in his car, and he's like, I have the idea for the visa. And sometime before this convo, he like ended up putting his hand on my leg for like 30 seconds. Ooh, I don't know why, but it was like, ha ha ha, something like that. Like, how guys will be like, and like find a way to touch you. It was like that. And I was like, don't touch me. So this man, he's like, Chloe, so you want to hear my idea for your visa? Are you going to hire me? Like, what's going on? He says, let's get married. Sorry? Let's get married? Sir, you are double my age. You have children. And this is my third time meeting you. And then he goes on and on. He's like, yeah, we can live in the same house, but we'll live in separate rooms. And for the interview, we'll do this and that, because you have to do like an interview to get a marriage visa to like prove it. This man is like, he's creating this fantasy future in his head, saying it out loud to me of what our married future will be like. I'm in the car with this man. I don't know how he would react if I was honest and if I said, you're crazy, no, I'm not gonna marry you. So I was just like, oh my God, that's a great idea. Thank you so much for even offering. I just played it cool. I'm an actor, right? And I know what to do in situations like that. You have to play into them. You can't get angry, especially when you're not in control. For all I could know, he could drive me somewhere, who knows. So yeah, I answered in that way to protect myself. And yeah, it's safe to say I never met up with him again after that. I did get paid though, but it's not worth it. The feeling I had in my gut every time I was with him just wasn't worth it. Okay, so this is just a short mini story, but there was this one guy who I met him through mutual friends, and he asked me out on a date. I think he did, or maybe we both agreed. I forget. But we went to this nice izakaya, and he was cool. I wasn't really that hungry, and also I couldn't really eat much there because I'm like vegan, vegetarian. So I just had edamame and a beer. So it was like $5, my meal. But he was feasting. He had a lot of food, a lot of drinks, and whatever, like I don't care, get whatever you want. But when it was time to pay, I'm like, oh, let me pay, like just to be nice. And he's like, no, I got it. But I was like, we could split it, But he's like, no, like I'll just pay everything. But I was fine with splitting, whatever. He swipes his card. It declines. And I was like, it's fine, like I'll just pay. Maybe get me later. He's like, no, I'll give you cash from the ATM at the convenience store. So we go to the convenience store, and I'm thinking he's gonna give me the cash back because the whole thing was $60. That's pretty expensive. And the fact that I barely had anything. So at the convenience store, I get a beer and like a snack. I think it was like $7. And he pays for it. And he's like, okay, like here, I got you this time. And that was it. Like he didn't give me cash, anything. And I'm usually not a stickler on stuff like this, but the fact that he was the one who asked me out, he was the one who got most of the food and drinks at the izakaya, it's like I basically took him out and paid for his whole meal and all his drinks. But whatever. I don't know. I thought he was cute, so. And we went back to his house. Nobody made a move. I'm not gonna make the first move. I'm too scared. And I like to just wait. I like to wait until someone makes the first move. We watched Slender Man. Nothing happened. And I ended up calling myself a taxi at 4 a.m. And it was $40. So I spent like $100. I spent $100 that day. And I never spoke with him again. But to be fair, I've been on some really, really nice dates with Japanese guys who paid the whole bill while I was in the bathroom. This one guy who I used to date, he never let me take out my card. He just was super generous. And yeah, a lot of guys paid for me here. But that was just a funny story I had to share. So after many failed dates, after getting cheated on, getting heartbroken, being scared of men, what's new, I decided to give Bumble one more chance. And I remember I was on Bumble, and I don't really date younger guys. Like, I usually date guys at least like 3 years older than me. But I was like, let me change my age settings to, what did I change it to? I think I did like 3 years younger than me, which I never do. I never go for even 1 year younger than me. And I saw this guy, he was this Japanese guy, he was cute, he seemed sweet, and he made a comment about tofu. I love tofu. And that was one of my things on Bumble. I was like, fun fact, I love tofu. I don't know what to write on those. And he commented, he's like, oh my god, I love tofu too. And I was like, ooh. I mean, I know a lot of people like tofu, so it's not a crazy thing, but I don't know. I liked that. Yeah, I met up with him and things went great. And he is my current boyfriend now. And he is such a sweet guy. He grew up around a lot of women who had like strong personalities. So I think he knows how to treat a woman, and he knows how to be respectful to women because he had such positive influences in his life. He lived abroad and he speaks English. I mean, not that I can't speak Japanese, but it's nice because we can speak both now. I can speak Japanese and English to him. But also we both have somewhat of an understanding of each other's cultures because he's lived in America for a bit. I have lived in Japan for a bit. So, not to say it's perfect. Like, sometimes we will not understand this way of thinking or that way of thinking. There's always going to be different ways of thinking, especially if you're from different cultures. But for the most part, we get along great. Oh, and a green flag, his social media. Like, you know how you'll look at some guys for the For You page, and it's all like naked women, and you're like, why are you following all these girls? You know what I mean? His For You page is literally just bunnies, because he is a bunny, and cars and bikes. Kind of weird combination, but hey, I'm happy with it. And dating my current boyfriend, he's not the wildest guy, and there's like no chaos really, but I think that's what I need in my life. I don't know about you guys, but I was attracted to chaos for such a long time, and I needed like an unstable relationship. I needed something crazy, and that's why I think I stayed with people who cheated on me. That's why I was with people who abused substances. That's why I dated older men. It was exciting. I probably won't date a 53-year-old again though. But I realized chaos is exciting. Chaos is a roller coaster. It's also devastating. It's easy to be attracted to chaos, at least for me. But chaos always left me feeling like really broken. So I think it's better to seek chaos outside of love. Love will be my calm, safe haven. Chaos can maybe be with some hobbies of mine, maybe music. Speaking of chaos and music, I fractured my nose last week at a music show. So that's the type of chaos I like. Those are my stories. I never did a story time. Did I do a story time? I don't know. I thought it would be fun to do a story time. And of course, this is my subjective personal experience. There's always good and bad experiences everywhere you go, but these are just some of my funny ones. So be careful dating. Anywhere. Not just Japan. Bye.